Many times, people who work as police officers or have a strong position in the police force treat child vendors badly, and those old people who are homeless. They take the little they have and it's either confiscated or thrown to the ground. This is the story of Bertha, a young 20-year-old woman who lived in the city of Bucaramanga in the country of Colombia. She lived with her parents, who sold craft work to make ends meet. From a very young age, Bertha knew what the value of work was. Her parents always instilled in her what it was to earn money with hard work. She never wanted to stay in Bucaramanga and always told her parents that she wanted to study in the capital and that she would like to be a great architect in order to succeed. Time went by, and Bertha arrived in Bogotá, where she would study in one of the best universities in the country. Her parents made a great sacrifice to give her the best, renting her an apartment, buying her a computer, and other things she was asked to buy at the university. They even bought her a modern car. Bertha was very excited because her grades were very good, but love would also come to her in her early 20s. She would fall in love with a young man of Uruguayan origin named Guillermo. He started dating Bertha, and she would fall in love with him. It was the first time she would fall in love. Everything Guillermo told her, she did, until one day Bertha said to her lover, my love, I will be right back. I will go to my parents' house." The young man very calmly shook his head and said, "My love, take your time. I'll wait for you here." Bertha happily went to visit her parents, leaving her car, her things, and all the money she had saved behind. The very happy young woman visited her parents and told them, "Dad, Mom, I've found true love. I've not introduced you to him yet because it's not time." The family spent a pleasant afternoon, and Bertha would return home in a cab very happy. When she opened the door of her house, she was surprised to find that there was nothing there. Everything was empty. Furniture, TV, and even the car and her savings were taken. Very frightened, she immediately called her parents, who quickly arrived at Bertha's house and told her, "Bertha, what happened?" The young woman told them everything that had happened. Her parents told her, "This happens because you don't know people well. But don't worry, daughter, you are not alone. We will help you overcome this. This will only serve as experience." The young woman would begin to cry because she thought that Guillermo would be the love of her life. When she went to report the theft of her things, the police told her that the young man was a scammer who was very sought after by the police. Bertha suffered a lot for a long time, but nevertheless, she did not want to move away from home and would spend that time at home. She became friends with a policeman who was always on the lookout for her and always wanted to be her friend, but somehow she always rejected him. Bertha's character began to change, and she began to think badly of men, saying, "All men are the same." She started dating different men, and this policeman friend would always pick her up in a sorry state because she drank too much. One time she said to herself, "What if I fool around with this cop?" The young woman began to go out with the policeman, making him fall more and more in love with her, playing with him, and he, as a good person, would fall for her provocations and whims. After several outings and several months, the young woman got pregnant, and very scared, she told the policeman, "I'm pregnant." The policeman just looked at her and started to laugh, saying, "You're pregnant? Haha, my God!" Bertha was very scared and could not believe that the man, who she thought was a good person, would treat her that way. The bad news came for Bertha when her parents came to see her and a large bus crashed into them, causing their untimely death. When she received the news, she was shocked and devastated and said to herself, "What am I going to do now? My parents died, I'm pregnant, and my boyfriend left me." Bertha would not stop crying and would be very lonely. After her parents' funeral, Bertha thought she had inherited some money or property, without imagining that when she went to the bank, the 2 houses they had were mortgaged for various amounts of money that her parents had asked for in order to pay for the expensive university she was in. Besides, her apartment and car were also mortgaged. She would go bankrupt. She was 3 years away from finishing college, but she couldn't make ends meet. She was kicked out of the apartment where she lived, and the car she had was taken away from her because she never paid the installments the bank gave her to pay for the car. Time went by, and Bertha found a small room where she could put her little things. She looked at the sky and said, "I had everything, and now I have to live like this." The 9th month would come, and she would have strong contractions. Tired, she would leave the small room and faint. When she opened her eyes, she was told, "Congratulations, you had a beautiful baby. You had a cesarean section so we could take the baby out." Apparently, Bertha was not very happy and just wanted to go to her room, since she did not know where she was going to get the money to pay for the operation. The people who lived in Bertha's neighborhood raised money for her because they knew she didn't work. The baby's name was Matthew, and he was loved by the whole neighborhood. She would not give up and started looking for a job while she left her son with one of her neighbors. As the years went by, little Matthew grew up and had already turned 7 years old. And seeing that his mother was always working, one day he said to her, "Mommy, Mommy, I don't want you to work. Let me help you." She was very sad and looked at her son and only said, "Thank you for your words, little one, but you just dedicate yourself to study." The little boy had been on vacation from school, where he got very good grades and had been a very exemplary child, until one day Matthew, with his savings, bought a Bolero box and wanted to work as a shoeshine boy to help his mother. The little boy would go downtown with his shoeshine box, and the first day he would do very well, and he gave that money to his mother and said, "Mommy, I give this money for you." The very excited lady would only start crying, hugging her son very tightly. Little Matthew would always ask his mother, "Mother, who's my daddy? What's his name?" And Bertha would just change the subject. The shoeshine job for Matthew was very good, but the police would start going to downtown to remove all the street vendors, or people who were working, and told them, "Get out of here, people, this place is not for working." Apparently, the street vendors did not pay attention, until one day the police came out at full speed and decided to beat and scare all the people who were working downtown. That day was St. Matthew's Day. Bertha was on her way home and saw that a policeman grabbed Matthew in a strong way and slapped him in the face. The policeman wanted to continue mistreating him, and the mother ran up to him and kneeling down, she said, "Please don't mistreat him, he is my son. I didn't know he was working, please don't hit him." The astonished policeman said, "Bertha, is that you?" Bertha looked at the policeman and recognized him. It was the same person who had once had an affair with her and abandoned her. The policeman said, "Bertha, I didn't know he was your son, but he has to get out of here." The very frightened miner looked at him, while his mother said, "This miner that you slapped, he is your son. I know that at the time I made mistakes, but he is your son." The policeman was speechless and immediately looked at him, and seeing the great physical resemblance they had, he hugged him very tightly and said, "Forgive me, son. Forgive me for what I wanted to do." Matthew, very scared and excited at the time, just said, "I wanted to meet you for a long time." From that moment on, the policeman recognized his son and would give him and his mother Bertha a better quality of life. She would end up in college and become a great architect. They would both let bygones be bygones and restart in the relationship again as a family. Well, dear friends, so much for today's story. We hope you enjoyed it. Give me your opinion. Was it right what Bertha did for her son? If you liked this story, give us a like, leave us your valuable comments so we can all read it. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, we invite you to do so and click on the notification bell so you will always know when we have a new story. See you next time!